Hello, I'm Deborah Cheetham Fraillon, and I'm the composer of Eumeralla, a War Requiem for Peace. The Eumeralla Wars of Resistance, and I call them that as a First Nations woman. They weren't frontier wars to us. This wasn't a frontier. This was our land. So these wars of resistance took a brutal toll on the population of the Gunditjmara people. In 1840, the population of Gunditjmara people on their lands was estimated at 9,000. At the end of the Eumeralla Wars of Resistance, there were just 77 survivors. This is a history, it's confronting, it's almost impossible to conceive of that we could live our whole lives as Australians and not know that this had happened on our continent. This work, like so much other music, has the potential to create a space for us to learn and to grow through the process of performing, through the process of listening. It was important from the outset that this should work towards reconciliation and bringing peace to the souls of those who lost their lives in this conflict and those who've suffered other atrocities ever since. But also to help non-Indigenous Australians find a way into this story. And music can do that. It can transmit a truth more accurately than just about any other means I know. Music began here, on this continent, the oldest music practice in the world, and everything that has come since is a continuation of that. Everything that we celebrate as classical musicians is simply a continuation of the need to express what mere words alone cannot tell. To elevate thought through music belongs to every creature on the planet, not just humans. And so that I've studied the Western canon of music and performed music from the early 1700s up to the middle of the 20th century, was my repertoire as a singer for a long time. I don't see that as somehow diminishing my Indigenous identity. I think that any knowledge that has come to this country is ours to treasure and to embrace as Indigenous Australians, alongside all other Australians. I don't think it diminishes this work at all. In fact, I know that the marriage of Gunditjmara language and dialects with a Western tonal world, if you like, that is a really special union. And when that comes together through the orchestra, the choirs, the soloists, that is what is the great and lasting impact of the work. It's 85 minutes of Gunditjmara language, roughly, that's sung by an enormous choir, a children's choir and 3 soloists. And then underpinning that is the work of the orchestra, where some of the subtext and much of the language is embedded rhythmically, and the experience of the Gunditjmara people from that time harmonically and texturally in the music. For Australians to play and to sing this work, it's a different experience to even to the Britain War Requiem, which is something that we can relate to, the First World War and the poetry of Wilfred Owen. We can relate to the loss and the horrors of that war. We've seen, we've read, we've studied. This is something that's being uncovered. It's like a wound that you didn't know you had. It's being uncovered as you play the notes, as you sing the words. And It's an experience for choirs and orchestras that I think is unlike any other, really, at this time in Australia's history. The opportunity to bring Eumeralla, War Requiem for Peace, to the Sydney Opera House is a moment of such significance, and on many, many levels. This is one of the world's great orchestras, playing a large-scale work. This is a Sydney premiere, right? New South Wales premiere. So you've got that excitement, that frisson of this is the first time. There are forces on stage that you don't always get to hear. A huge orchestra, an enormous choir, choirs in fact, children's choir and soloists, and a language that hasn't been heard in this volume for over 100 years. There are so many unique experiences in this performance that I think to make that commitment of time, to make that commitment to coming to the Sydney Opera House and hearing this work, it will deliver on every level.